Hey everyone, welcome back to another Barbecue Bros video. Tonight we are going to be making smoked brisket enchiladas. So what I'm going to be doing is I've got some leftover brisket from a couple cooks ago. I actually did a video on this. It was a hot and fast brisket, so if you saw that video, the leftovers I'm going to be using tonight is from that cook. And what we're going to do here is we're going to make a homemade barbecue enchilada sauce. So it's just kind of like a classic enchilada sauce, and then you just throw in some of your favorite barbecue sauce. And then I'll get some brisket heated up, and then we'll build those out, and we'll just kind of walk through that whole process. So basically what we've got here is we've got 1.5 cup of tomato sauce. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. 1.5 cup of water. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1/3 of a cup of chili powder. This is 1 teaspoon of cumin. This is 1/2 cup of barbecue sauce, and I am using the Rufus Teague Touch of Heat. So I would recommend, if you want to try to follow this recipe, grab something that's got just a little bit of kick to it, since this is a Mexican dish. Get that in there. And then lastly, we just have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we'll go ahead, and all you're going to do is just mix this up. Alright, and there we have it. So just quickly mix that up, and then we'll pick back up in just a second once the boiling water is ready and we're ready to put the brisket in. Alright, so as I've showed you before, I basically just get some water boiling, and I've got a vacuum sealed bag of brisket from my last cook. So this just came straight out of the freezer. So I'm going to throw this straight in here, and we're going to set the timer for about 25 minutes. And let that go ahead and start heating up, and we'll pick back up when it's ready. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and pull the brisket out. Go ahead and cut this heat off. Take this off of the heat right there. And all we're going to do is let that top off, let that brisket fall out. Alright, and we'll be back in just a second to chop this brisket up. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and chop this brisket up now. Came out nice and tender. Out of the way. Alright, it's looking pretty good. We'll be right back in just a second. Okay, so at this point we got all the brisket chopped up. Just going to throw it in this bowl here. Try not to make too much of a mess. There we go. It's looking pretty good. We've got some just some mild diced green chilies. Gonna dump that in there. We're not gonna go too heavy on those. And we're just gonna go ahead and mix this up just like this. Got the slime on there. You can add hot chilies or whatever you want to do if you want to try to heat this up, but my wife and my girls aren't a big fan of hot stuff, so I'm going to keep this a little bit more mild tonight. And now all we're going to do is we've got a little baking pan here. I've got the oven heated to 375. We're just going to take a little pan, raise just a little bit in there like that. Let's move this over here like this. Got some nice tortillas here. And all we're going to do is we're just going to take some of this meat, some of this amazing brisket, and these peppers. Go ahead and kind of build this out, so just about like that. No need to go too crazy on it. And all we're going to do is we're going to wrap this guy up like this. So just like that. And we're going to put it in here just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and build the rest of these out, and I'll pick back up in just a second. Alright, I've got all these built out. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take some of our homemade barbecue enchilada sauce that we made. And we're just going to take this right here and just pour this all over these guys. Get them nice and covered. This sauce smells amazing. If you have any left over, just throw it in a Tupperware and save it for later. Alright, or you can serve some on the side. So that looked good right there. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to do half of these with some shredded sharp cheddar cheese right here. So I'm just going to put this on half of them and go pretty heavy on the cheese. Just like that. That looks pretty good. And then I'm also going to do some Colby and Monterey Jack on this other half. Again, go pretty heavy on the cheese. And my wife's not a big fan of beans, but I'm going to cover half of these. The side I'm going to be eating with some black beans. Just like this. No need to go too crazy. Alright, just like that. And all you have to do now is we're going to put this guy in the oven, which has been preheated to 375 for about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll pick back up when we're ready to pull them out. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes. I just checked on them and they're done, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them out of the oven. Cut this off so you can see here the cheese melted nicely. And yeah, so that's really all it took. Was I thought it'd take about 25 minutes, but you want to check on them right around 15-20 minutes and look for all the cheese to be melted in a nice golden color there. So that's it. I've got a little bit more of the sauce left over on the side, which will drizzle over the top when we go to serve these in a few minutes. We're going to let them cool down. So I took some leftover brisket, chopped it up, added some mild chili peppers, and just rolled them up in some tortillas, added some cheese, and baked them at 375 for about 15-20 minutes. So these guys are going to be pretty epic. And a nice and easy meal for you to use some of your leftover brisket with. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up again soon.